The airport terminal was crowded with travelers, rushing toward their gates when two security officers suddenly grabbed a woman in a simple gray coat. "Come with us," one officer ordered. The woman looked confused. "Why? I haven't done anything." "You'll explain that in the security office." People turned to watch as the officers pulled her away. She carried only a worn leather bag, and her clothes looked ordinary. To everyone around her, she seemed like nobody important. Near Gate 18, a powerful CEO named Daniel Carter witnessed the scene. Daniel was known throughout the business world. His company had just signed a massive international contract, and he was flying to attend a meeting with investors. He barely paid attention at first. Then the woman dropped her passport. It landed on the floor, open. Daniel caught a glimpse of the name. His face went pale. "Wait!" He hurried toward the security officers. The guard blocked him. "Sir, step back." Daniel pointed at the passport. "You need to stop. You have no idea who that woman is." The officer frowned. "And you do?" Daniel picked up the passport and looked at the photograph again. "I know exactly who she is." The woman stared at him, equally surprised. "Mr. Carter?" she whispered. Daniel nodded slowly. For years, Daniel had searched for the person who had saved his company from collapse when he was still a young businessman. 12 years earlier, an anonymous investor had purchased a huge amount of his failing company's debt and then quietly canceled it. Daniel had never discovered the investor's identity until now. He turned the passport toward the guard. "This woman is Elena Morgan." The officer shrugged. "That doesn't mean anything to me." Daniel's voice became firm. "She owns the investment group that controls nearly 30% of my company." The terminal seemed to go silent. The woman shook her head. "Daniel, please, don't make this worse." "You don't have to explain anything," he replied. The security supervisor arrived after hearing the commotion. "What happened?" The officer explained that Elena had been stopped because her passport information had triggered an alert, and because she had refused to surrender her personal bag for an additional search. The supervisor examined the documents. Then his expression changed. "There may have been a mistake." Daniel's eyes narrowed. "What kind of mistake?" The supervisor admitted that another passenger with a similar name had been flagged earlier that morning. Elena's passport had been incorrectly associated with the alert. But there was another problem. Someone had reported her bag as suspicious. Daniel looked at Elena. "Who knew you were carrying it?" She hesitated. "My business partner." Daniel immediately understood. Elena opened the leather bag. Inside were several legal documents, a sealed envelope, and a small flash drive. The supervisor checked everything and found nothing dangerous. But Daniel noticed something strange. The flash drive had the logo of his company. "Elena," he said quietly, "why do you have that?" She looked toward the crowd before answering. "Because someone inside your company has been stealing millions from you." Daniel froze. "What?" "I was coming to your meeting to give you proof." She handed him the envelope. Inside were bank records, transaction reports, and copies of secret agreements. Daniel's hands trembled as he read them. The person responsible was his chief financial officer, the man Daniel trusted more than anyone. For months, the executive had been moving money through fake companies. Elena had discovered the scheme while conducting an independent audit. "That's why I came here," she said. "I didn't want to send the evidence electronically. I was afraid they were monitoring my communications." Daniel looked at her differently now. The woman everyone had dismissed as a nobody had just protected everything he had built. He turned to the security supervisor. "She was treated like a criminal because of an error. I want this formally documented." The supervisor apologized repeatedly. Elena simply picked up her bag. "It's all right," she said. "People make mistakes." Daniel shook his head. "No. You were humiliated because people judged you by your appearance." He paused. "And I almost did the same." Elena smiled faintly. "You stopped them." Daniel looked at the evidence again. "And you saved my company?" 3 hours later, Daniel's CFO was arrested after investigators confirmed the fraud. The next morning, Daniel called a company-wide meeting. Elena walked into the room wearing the same gray coat. Everyone stared. Daniel stood beside her. "Yesterday," he said, "this woman was dragged through an airport because someone decided she looked unimportant." He looked around the room. She was never a nobody. Elena lowered her eyes. Daniel continued. She was the person who saved my company years ago. She protected it again yesterday. And from today forward, she will be our largest strategic partner. The room erupted in applause. Elena smiled. Daniel leaned toward her and whispered, "You know, I still can't believe I recognized you from one passport." She laughed softly. "You didn't recognize me?" Daniel smiled. "I recognized the name." "And?" He looked at her. "Sometimes the most important people don't need to look important." Elena nodded. And as they walked out together, Daniel realized something he would never forget. The world had called her a nobody because it couldn't see what she carried inside. But one passport had revealed the truth.